Why don't we get to the bottom of this mystery?
Hercule Poirot, Miss Marple, Sherlock Holmes.
My dear Watson, I expected even you to see through that trick.
These famous detectives always give audiences what they want. Mind-bending twists and turns. They start by collecting clues, interviewing suspects.
I say, a real-life detective. Scotland Yard and everything.
And by the end of the movie, they gather everybody into a room, and then they reveal who the killer is.
Get that?
This trope, this grand reveal, it's something that's in almost every single mystery movie. Why? Well, for starters, it's lots of fun. But more importantly, it satisfies the audience's burning itch to figure out who the killer is and how they managed to get away with it. After all, if somebody dies in the first half of the movie, we're gonna want to know who did it and why in the second half. It's classic setup and payoff. The filmmakers promise the audience, if you stick with the movie until the end, we will satisfy you. It's a social contract.
You want us to sign this?
Just a formality, really.
But what happens if a movie breaks that contract? Well, that's exactly what two movies do. 2018's Burning and 2009's The White Ribbon. These two films are unlike 95% of all movies. They never give the audience definitive answers to their respective mysteries. Questions like, who is the culprit and what is the crime, never get answered. That begs the question, why would you have a mystery movie without a solution? Well, these two movies show us the important role of ambiguity, how it can strengthen your story, and give the audience something to think about for years into the future. Let's take a look at Burning and The White Ribbon. Burning introduces us to Jung-soo, a young man who randomly meets an old classmate named Hae-mi. He immediately begins to crush on her. They spend a night together, and a couple weeks later, Jung-soo agrees to pick her up at the airport. She's just come back from a soul-searching vacation, and she's not alone. She's brought a new friend, Ben. Jung-soo is jealous, and for good reason. Ben is good-looking, wealthy, has a close group of friends, and is spending a lot of time with Hae-mi. One night, Ben tells Jung-soo a secret.
난 비닐하우스를 태우는 취미가 있어요. 들판에 버려진 낡은 비닐하우스 하나를 골라 태우는 거예요. 2달에 한 번쯤?
And Ben has found his next greenhouse, and it's really close by. For weeks after that interaction, Jung-soo can't get a hold of Hae-mi. No text, no phone call goes through. It's like she's disappeared. Jung-soo looks everywhere, even searching for burned down greenhouses for clues. Hae-mi's family thinks she ran away because she was in serious debt, but Jung-soo starts stalking Ben, feeling like there's something more sinister behind her disappearance.
가족이 연락이 안 돼요. 혜미는 그냥 연기처럼 사라졌어요.
In Anatomy of Genres, John Truby writes, "The unreliable narrator is a fun POV technique that increases plot. The writer gains the reader's trust by using a particular character to narrate what happened. Since the speaker was actually there, the reader assumes that what is said is the truth. In fact, eyewitness testimony is highly suspect. Even when trying to be completely truthful, the individual must express bias." We see the world through Jung-soo's particular worldview. He's a poor farm boy. His mother left him when he was young. His dad is on trial for a criminal misdemeanor. He's an aspiring writer who doesn't know what to write about. Jung-soo holds a lot of rage for this unfair world, and Ben is the ultimate manifestation of all that is unfair.
어떻게 하면 젊은 나이에 저렇게 살 수 있지? 형이 이렇게 여행 다니고 포르쉐 몰고 음악 들으면서 파스타 삶고.
What does this mean? Does Ben cycle through female victims the way he, quote unquote, burns down a greenhouse for fun every 2 months? The film hints towards this, like when Ben insinuates that he's a psychopath.
왜냐면 난 눈물을 흘리고 울어본 적이 없거든.
So, is Ben the bad guy? Here's actor Steven Yeun talking about how he approached the character.
He very much well could be a bad guy, but also you saw a vision of him through the lens of Chongsu, and so you don't know. And that's, I think, part of the mystery of the world, is that we live our own realities, and we come up with the things that we want to believe, and sometimes they're true and sometimes they're not. We don't know.
Since Jung-soo thinks that Ben is the bad guy, Jung-soo becomes the detective, the judge, and the executioner in the case of Ben's guilt. Whereas burning is told through one character's point of view, the White Ribbon is largely God's eye. The White Ribbon takes place in a small village in Germany 1 year before the start of World War I. During this time, countless unexplainable events occur. The village doctor is injured when he falls from his horse after being tripped. A sawmill worker dies when she falls through the rotten floorboards. A boy is beaten within an inch of his life. So, who did this? Well, it's hard to tell because everyone in town has a dark side. The pastor rules with an iron fist over the church and his children.
Ihr seid wohl mit mir einer Meinung, dass ich euer Verhalten nicht ungestraft durchgehen lassen kann, wollen wir in Hinkunft wieder in gegenseitiger Achtung miteinander auskommen.
The steward beats his son to teach him a lesson. The baron lives in a palatial mansion with his wife and son and lords over every farmer in town. The doctor sexually abuses his own teenage daughter. The town is ruled by immoral patriarchs who reward do-gooders and punish transgressors as they see fit. On the podcast script notes, Craig Mason said, "Mystery creates curiosity, and curiosity is what draws the audience in." The White Ribbon does a really good job of drawing the audience in, setting up the mystery in the first minute of the movie. By doing so, the White Ribbon assigns the audience an interpretive role. There's no traditional detective role, so the audience must be the ones to judge every character as a potential suspect. As such, the audience scours every scene for clues. What's unique is that lots of scenes don't actually advance the mystery's investigation at all. In fact, lots of scenes just depict everyday life in the town.
Dann ist es ja gar nicht so schrecklich, oder?
Nein, aber den ganzen Tag nur Haare zusammenkämmen.
For example, in a scene early in the movie, the pastor prepares to cane his older children as punishment. In a remarkable long take, we see the ceremony of caning. First, the mother waits at the staircase for her 2 eldest children before ushering them into the room. After a beat, the eldest son, Martin, returns to his father's study. The audience waits even longer to see Martin emerge with the cane to give to his father. What makes this scene so difficult to watch is that the violence exists only off camera, as though it is too gruesome to watch. We come to realize that this caning is a rehearsed tradition in the family, and we begin to speculate. The village is clearly filled with cold, dysfunctional family dynamics. Could that relate to the strange occurrences in the town?
Ich weiß nicht.
Because soon we realize that the children and the white ribbon their father makes them wear around their arms are actually at the center of this mystery. To circle back, why make a mystery movie without a resolution? To paraphrase Robert Self in Systems of Ambiguity in the Art Cinema, full quotation in the show notes, conventional story structures lead the audience to a logical resolution. Unconventional story structure instead chooses to say something meaningful outside of the logic of plot. To try to arrive at a logical conclusion about what happened would be to miss the points of these movies. Directors Lee Chang-dong and Michael Haneke see films becoming simple. Lee blames Marvel. He says, I think it sort of stems from this desire we all have of wanting to believe that the world can be saved by a singular superhero. But unfortunately, the world is not becoming any simpler. It's actually becoming much more complicated. In the world of Burning, there aren't any heroes or villains. Not until Jong-soo takes matters into his own hands. He has to. After all, he's inundated with political situations completely outside of the scope of his control.
이게 무슨 소리예요?
아, 이거 북한에서 대남방송 쏘는 스피커 소리예요.
저기 저 너머가 북한이잖아.
Solving the mystery is the one area of his life where he can potentially make a difference. Haneke shares Lee's sentiment.
Die Geschichte, die ich erzählen will, handelt von Themen oder Problemen, bei denen es eine Lüge wäre, vorzugeben, man wüsste Antworten. Auch die großen Probleme, die die Menschheit bewegen, darauf gab es leider noch nie Antworten, sonst wären die Dinge schon gelöst. Es lebt nur das Mainstream im Kino von der frommen Lüge, dass sie lösbar sind.
To get away from that simplicity, Haneke contradicts his audience's every expectation. Haneke can be a very frustrating director to watch, but that's also what makes him unique and enjoyable. We're never given an answer. It's up to the audience to find a meaning and to penetrate deeper into the layers of what they're shown. Ambiguity isn't just relevant for mystery movies. Lots of movies have questions that are never answered. Like, what's in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction? What does Bill Murray whisper into Scarlett Johansson's ear at the end of Lost in Translation? These questions are what endure for years. So the next time you think about spoon-feeding an answer to your reader, consider deepening their experience by keeping at least one or two cards close to your chest. Let them figure out the story for themselves. What they come up with might be wilder than anything you, the author, could potentially dream up.
Auf dem Weg, diese banalen Fragen zu beantworten, wer jetzt der Täter ist, sozusagen sich auch die Fragen über die grundsätzlichen Fragen zu stellen.
I love mysteries and ambiguity. I wrote a mystery play that got staged here in my hometown, Vancouver. It was a lot of fun. It was part detective story, part true crime spoof. What are your favorite mystery movies? Let me know down in the comments section below. I read every single one, and I would love the support from any comments, likes, and subscribes. I'll see you next time.